Hello. I'm going to welcome everybody. Thank you all for joining us. There might be still some people joining in, but in the effort of saving our time, because this is a information-filled session, thank you for joining the Durham College Build Your Foundation information session today with us, with Enrollment Services and Student Records. Today, we will be having a panel of individuals who I'll introduce in a minute. And as part of our culture here at Durham College, we do like to start all presentations with a land acknowledgement. So Durham College acknowledges the lands and the peoples of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. We recognize the lands on which we gather are covered under the Williams Treaties and rest within the traditional territory of the Mississaugas, a branch of the Anishinaabe Nation, which also includes Algonquin, Chippewa, Ottawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi. It is through the treaty process that we are able to live, learn, teach, and prosper in this region. We acknowledge with gratitude that this land and the Indigenous peoples who have cared for and continue to protect Turtle Island, which is North America, and its resources. We commit to the responsibility of reconciliation and the work of increasing awareness and understanding of our shared history. We do so by recognizing the past and working towards a shared future as friends and allies. Thank you. As you can see, we have a panel of representatives supporting us today to respond to the written questions that you are able to provide within the question and answer section. So on your screen, you would have a Q&A area, and that's where questions can be posted. Our representatives will be able to support questions as they come in, keeping in mind that during the presentation, there is a number of details that you'll probably have questions to that will likely be answered throughout the session. This session will be recorded and available to you within the next 2 to 3 days electronically for you to review, share, and pause and listen and watch again. If you have questions, again, please just post them in the Q&A section, and that's where we will be responding. And throughout the presentation, we will also have some poll questions to have you share your thoughts and ideas on some of the points that we'll be covering. So without further ado, please let me introduce our presenter for today. We have Autumn Kassar, who has worked with Enrolment Services since 2009, including as a work-study student and contract positions. And she became a permanent employee in 2021 with our department. She's now an Enrollment Services Specialist, where she implements and resolves communication strategies between the Enrollment Services Department and students to support your student experience. So I'm going to pass it over to Autumn.
Thank you so much, Steph, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to Build Your Foundations with Enrollment Services and Student Records. I'm very happy to be here today to deliver a bunch of information to all of you in regards to your upcoming journey and student experience here at Durham College. As Steph had mentioned, and I'd like to just mention again that this recording will be sent to you in a few hours after the webinar is done, and it will also be available on MyDC for a few weeks. So you do have the option to go back and look at this recording again, and then of course you can connect with us if you do have any further questions regarding your upcoming studies here at Durham College. This is our agenda for today. So we do have a lot to talk to you all about and deliver. We will go over the Office of the Registrar in International Education and give a brief description of what our department is all about here in Enrollment Services and Student Records. We will talk about communications and how we communicate with you and the importance of our communications. We will go over a MyDC navigation. So we will go to the main student portal, which is called MyDC, and I will show you around to get you a little familiar with what the student portal looks like and where you can find our resources. There'll be a web registration demonstration. So web registration for your timetable does open up next week, and I will play a little video on what it's going to look like and what you'll see when you do log in to web register. We'll go over our important dates and deadlines, payment information, verification of student records. So if you are needing a verification of enrollment to prove to anyone, or even to when you do arrive in Canada that you are a student, I will go over how you can access that. I will go over updating your address, the student ID, and the UPass. So that is the Durham Region Transit Bus Pass. As a full-time student, you do have access to the bus. And I will go over a little bit of that with you all here. And then connecting with us. So how you will connect with us during your time here at Durham College. Okay, so Office of the Registrar in International Education, we are a very, very big department, and there are a lot of sub-departments that are included in this office. So we provide services to prospective students, applicants, registered students, and graduates of Durham College. So you would have been dealing with international admissions when you were interested in applying for Durham College, when you were a prospective student. And then when you did apply, you would have worked with international admissions. And then once you make your payment, you come on over to Enrolment Services and Student Records, and you will be with our department until you graduate and even beyond. So if you need any type of academic transcript or record from us, we will always be here for you to be able to connect with us to obtain those records. Office of the Registrar and International Education also includes the domestic side of things, so our domestic admissions. We also have our reporting and student information systems, international finance. The international student advisors are also housed under the International Education Department, and international scholarships. So we are a non-academic department supporting your academic journey. We work very closely with the faculty offices, which are your academics, in order to make sure that your record and payments and everything is up to date and to ensure a smooth process here at Durham College. Enrollment Services and Student Records. So we'll talk specifically about what we do as a team and how it will be beneficial for you as the student to utilize us during your time here at Durham College. So all class registrations for full-time, part-time, PPL, and apprenticeship students, given the purpose of this webinar, this will be for all full-time students. All your class registrations will come through our department. So every single semester, you will be required to register for a timetable by a certain date, and those registrations will come through our department. So if you have any questions or if there's any issues that you have, you would contact Enrollment Services, and we will either assist you with the issue or your question, or be able to point you in the direction of someone at Durham College who can assist. All tuition payment transactions come through our department as well. So we will be the ones who you are paying, and it will be reflecting on your student account. So for most people attending today, you would have made a full payment for your first semester, and most likely part of your second semester as well. So there would be a tuition due date in March where there might be a little bit of funds that are remaining that are owed to Durham College. And we do have those dates up on our important dates and deadlines, which we will go over soon. So when you make that payment here with us, you would come visit Enrollment Services. All verification letters, so verifications of enrollment and graduation, come through our department. It's requested through Enrollment Services and Student Records, and then it is produced through a secure and authorized platform that we have partnered with called MyCreds. So typically enrollment letters are used to prove that you are an enrolled student. And then at the end of your studies, once you have a graduation audit done on your record, most international students need the verification of graduation letter for applying for PGWP. So those letters would come through our office. We update student records, so if there's any grade changes that are facilitated by the faculty office, those get sent to us and we update them. All official name and gender identity changes. So if you would need to make any changes to your student record in terms of your official name or gender identity, then that request would come through to our office. We handle all domestic and international withdrawals and refunds. So if you need to withdraw, if you need to defer your studies to another intake, all those requests and forms are processed through our student records department. We review student course load. So a few weeks after the classes have started, we go through all the student records to make sure that the student is in fact full-time or part-time. All official transcripts come through our department, so there will definitely be a time where you will at least need one official transcript to have a copy of your academic record, and those are requested and produced by our office. All the T2202 tax forms. So for all January start students, which would be everybody in this presentation today, your tuition payments are going towards the year 2025. So your T2202 tax form would be available in February of 2026. All of those tax forms are produced and made available to the students through our office. We perform graduation audits. So once you are finished all your classes, you will be required to apply to graduate. And then that will prompt us on our side to perform graduation audits to check that you have completed all the courses in your program of study and that you are in fact able to graduate. And then we produce the credentials. So you'll walk across the stage and you'll graduate as a Durham College student, and all of the credentials, so the diplomas, the certificates, the physical copies of them are produced by our office, and you're able to pick those up at graduation. And then any requests for reprints. So if you need reprints for any future date, those requests would come through to our office as well. Okay, so I will ask Steph if you could please launch poll number 1 for our students. If everyone would be okay with participating, please. Have you logged into your DC mail yet? Okay, thank you to all of those who've participated. We have 71% saying yes and 29% saying no. So this is really good information for us to have. And just to go into what I'm about to speak on, which is communications and how the Office of the Registrar, Enrolment Services, as well as every other department in the college will communicate with their students. So about 24 hours after you've made your first payment, you will have access to a network account. And this includes having access to your DC mail. So it is very important that all students, if you have not checked DC mail yet, we do encourage you to check DC mail. And we also encourage you to check DC mail every single day. So it should be treated like a very important personal email account because all communications will come to you from us, from other departments. We send a lot of courtesy emails to students. So just reminding you of web registrations, reminding you of upcoming payments, reminding you of the last day that you can drop classes or add classes. These are all courtesy emails that do come from us, and it's always good to know and check your DC mail to make sure that you stay on top of things. If you have not logged in yet and you have paid, I have the login credentials up on the screen here. So your username is your 9-digit student ID, and that number, if you are unsure what it is, it would be on your LOA, so your offer letter. It begins with the number 100, or it may begin with the number 101. The default password is the date of birth, your date of birth, and it's set up in this format. So if you were born, for example, on February 16th, 2000, your date of birth would be in month, day, year format, and the password is 021600. So after this webinar, I do encourage students, if you have not logged into DC Mail, to give your network password a try. If there are any issues, our IT services phone number is up here. They're also available on live chat through the IT services webpage, and they will be able to reset your password for you. So I will show you where DC Mail is located when we do our My DC navigation. And again, just to want to very much stress the importance of DC Mail and to always be checking it every single day, multiple times a day. You can download the Outlook app on your phone, so you do get notifications just like any other regular email. Okay, so I will show all the students now a navigation of My DC, which is the student portal. If Steph, you can launch poll number 2. We do have another question for students. Just curious where everybody is at in terms of visiting My DC or logging in. So have you visited or logged into My DC yet? Hey, thank you so much, everyone, for participating. We have 95% yes and 5% no. So this is great that most students have been to My DC and have looked around. I think what we'll go over now will be very beneficial in terms of our resources on My DC and where you can find them. And then I do also encourage students to take their own time and also look on My DC. There is a ton of information in here for students. A lot of our how-to tutorials are housed here. The academic calendar, all of the important messages are found on My DC. We have our helpful links, our live chat option where you can speak with us. So we will go to My DC now and take a look around, just so you understand exactly where everything is on here. Okay, so this is the homepage of My DC. The academic calendar is here, so these numbers and dates you see here, you can view more and see it in a calendar format. So this is where any academic department will post information. So a lot of other workshops, tests or exams, questionnaires, and due dates for questionnaires, they're all here. So it's good to know as a student where you can come to access a lot of this information, as well as all of the registrar's office important dates and deadlines are up here. So it will show your tuition payment deadlines. It will show statutory holidays when when the college is closed. So we'll go back here. Important messages. I do encourage students to come and look at our important messages every few days. I update important messages all the time to make sure that they correspond with all of our important dates, so you do not miss an important date or deadline. So for example, a big one that is coming up for students in this webinar today is our winter 2025 registration information. This is a very important one where I know a lot of students will have to come here to see what day and time their web registration opens. So all of the information in regards to winter 2025 registration information is found here. You can click here to see the spreadsheet of when your program will open for web registration. It does not mean that you have to go on that day and time. That's just when it opens. We do encourage students to go on as soon as possible. There are usually 1 to 4 schedule options. And if you want to be one of the first people to pick your schedule or see which options might be better than others, we do encourage you to get on there right away. So you would just search by your program. So for example, 911 emergency, you're entering semester 1, Tuesday, November 19th, which is the first day of web registration at 9 a.m. is when these students will be picking their timetable. Okay, so a lot of other information under important messages. If you guys would like to come back and read that on your own time, that would be great. Then we also have our helpful links on the side here. So this is to a lot of the resources that students frequently need. So for example, requesting a transcript, checking the program fee calculator to see how much your fees are. You can make a payment right from here. It's a direct link. You can view your account summary. Timetable options. This is where you will come, and you will see in my video soon where you will come for web registration, getting your verification letters, viewing grades. There's a lot of very quick and helpful links here for students. And then the last thing that I'd like to speak on is just the tabs at the top. So you can see Enrollment Services, Domestic and International. If you do have some time to go in here and check some things out, we have all of our tutorials posted. We have forms, we have self-service links that direct you to inside the student portal where you'll have to log in using your network password. So for example, the how to select a timetable tutorial is here. We have a lot of screenshots and very detailed information on how you're able to get done what you need to get done. Uh, so also when add, drop, and swap classes opens, there's all these how-to tutorials here on how you can switch your classes around when that day does come in December to be able to change your timetable around. And then you can also check on the top here. So we have tuition and fees and payments and tutorials for everything on how to make an online banking payment, how to make a credit card payment. You'd also come here to update your student your study permit, so your visa status. So a lot of you have most likely already visited this page here and would have went to our visa status update form. And then we also have our records and personal information. So anything for verification letters and grades, graduation, contact information. If there is an official name or gender identity change, that is here as well. Uh, Contact information, we will go over it more later in the presentation. But for international students coming from outside of Canada, it is very important to update your address. This is a big one. There's a lot of the times where international students won't update their address, and we don't know as a department where it is that they're living. All of their record would be incorrect with us in student records. So as soon as you do know where you are living in Canada, it's very important to make that update on My DC. So you'd come here to contact information and make that update there. Okay. So we do have our web registration demonstration now. It's about a 5-minute video that will just get you familiar of what it's going to look like when you do log into the student portal to web register for your timetable next week. I do have another poll question. If Steph, you don't mind launching poll number 3 for us, please. We'd like to just see where students are at in terms of what they know with our important dates. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh, so sorry. These dates are they're our incorrect dates. I do apologize for that. So let's just say yes or no. I guess no one can really answer. I will answer the question for us. I didn't realize that I had built dates into poll questions, so I do apologize for that. The first day to web register, we went over it when I went through the My DC navigation, and it is November 19th and November 20th. So it'll be one of those 2 dates where you will be able to go online and pick your timetable for the winter semester. So I will play the video now. It's a 5-minute video just to show you exactly what it's going to look like when you log in next week and select your timetable.
Welcome to our student web registration tutorial. You will register for your timetable by going to My DC and selecting Timetable Options. Log in to your student profile using your 9-digit student ID and network password. Once you've logged in, you will see your student profile page. You may get an alert to view action items. Select View Action Items to continue. You can also view your action items from your student profile by selecting My Action Items, which is found under Additional Links. Once you are on the Action Items page, you will see your action items on the left-hand side. You will need to complete the DC agreement to continue. To complete your DC agreement, select the item by clicking in the white box. Review the agreement, Select your response and save. Next, you will need to input an emergency contact. To complete your emergency contact, click in the white box. If you already have an emergency contact, you can review and confirm the information is correct. If you need to add an emergency contact, click here. This will open a new tab which displays your personal information. Scroll to the bottom and select Add New in the Emergency Contacts section. Enter the first name, last name, area code, and phone number for the contact and press Add. Close the tab, return to your Action Items page, and refresh the page. Your emergency contact will now be visible. Confirm your emergency contact information is correct and press Save. Next, you will need to enter your social insurance number. To do this, click in the white box. Enter your SIN, confirm, and save. You are now ready to select your timetable. Hit the return button to go back to your student profile. Once you are on your student profile page, select registration. You will then need to select the term you wish to register for. Then select an assigned plan to continue. A list of courses should automatically appear in the Select Courses panel once the registration page has loaded. If your program requires you to choose an elective, you will use the drop-down list to see all electives. In the elective tile, you'll be presented with an inventory of classes corresponding to the particular elective. The Schedule Results panel displays available timetables, which includes all selected courses. You can navigate the possible schedules using the arrow buttons at the top of the page or the arrow keys on your keyboard. The classes in the Courses panel are displayed in the Schedule Results area as a weekly timetable. If a course has no scheduled times, for example, an online course, it will not be displayed on the weekly timetable, but it is available in your semester timeline below the schedule. Courses being delivered face-to-face or synchronously will be displayed on the timetable. After finding your preferred schedule, you're ready to submit the schedule for registration. On the bottom of the schedule results, click the Get This Schedule button. After reviewing the list of classes and actions, click the Do Actions button. The results will either show as registered, or you may see a message indicating why registration was unsuccessful. If you receive an error, please view our registration troubleshooting tutorial found on MyDC for further direction. On the bottom right, you can click on Return to Select Courses to review the selections. The Select Courses panel will show the courses that you are now enrolled in. We hope that you'll enjoy using the new web registration application to find your preferred schedule.
Okay, so that just gives you a little demonstration of what it will look like when you select your timetable next week. So there are typically 1 to 4 schedule options to choose from depending on the program. So you'll go in there, you'll look at the results panel and be able to flip through the different options. You will be able to, you have to pick a block. So really just choosing the one that best suits you. And then just keep in mind that you are able to process timetable changes. So you can drop classes and add them back and switch times around, this will happen on December 18th at 4 p.m. That will open, and that will stay open up until day 5 of the semester, which is January 10th. So you do have a few weeks there to make changes to your timetable and wait to see if certain classes will become available at different dates and times if you'd like to change your timetable around. So some important information that we'd like to highlight in terms of web registration. So there are the action items, which was shown in the video. You have to agree to the registration agreement. That's one action item. The second one is updating your emergency contact. So specifically as well for international students, we'd like to remind you that it is very important to provide an emergency contact and their information for someone who lives in Canada. So that is, if there is ever an emergency, we do have someone that we can contact that lives close by. And then also the SIN, so social insurance number, that is action number 3. So for international students, we understand that majority of you do not have a social insurance number yet, and you are able to bypass the SIN collection as an international student. There's a screenshot here of what it would look like. You'll just click off that I do not have a social insurance number, and then you'd be able to proceed with that action item completed. So a little more information, we do like to mention to students that once you are registered into a timetable and you're going over your classes, so typically there are 5 to 7 classes per semester, it is important to check the courses that you're registered in and compare it with your program of study. So we do like students to take initiative and do this from their perspective, just to make sure that everything is good to go and they are in all the right classes. The program page is where you can visit to find your program of study, and I'll just show you what it looks like here. So our program page, which is found just off of the very main page, durhamcollege.ca programs and courses, you'll see a list of all of the Durham College programs. So say, for example, you're in the accounting business program, you would click accounting business, and this is what the program page looks like. So all the information in terms of the program are found here. You can click on the left-hand side where it says courses, and then these are all your courses for semester 1. So you would just want to make sure that if you're in business accounting and you've registered and you're showing those enrolled flags on your schedule builder, that these are the courses that are showing up there, just to make sure that every single one is there. We'd also like to remind students to check your timetable schedule regularly. It is possible for class days and times to change. So if you do pick, say you pick result number 2 and you're in this timetable, you haven't made any changes when add drop comes, we still encourage students and also being mindful of planning other things. So if you're looking for part-time jobs, or if you're looking for any other sorts of extracurricular activities, it is important to note that up until January 17th, which is day 10 of the winter term, your timetable is able to change. So faculty offices can change timetables for us to just be able to pivot with different things that come up in terms of the semester starting. So it is encouraged to check your timetable as often as you can and check it up until January 17th. So important dates and deadlines, we would like to speak a little bit about this, as they could impact your studies, and we do encourage students to plan ahead. So what I'd like to tell students is looking at our important dates and deadlines page. This is what it looks like here. And any important date that you feel pertains to you, we'll go to quick links here, current students, and then this is where you can find our important dates and deadlines. Jot the date down in your phone, put it on a calendar if you use a calendar at home, set reminders for yourself in your phone just so you're aware of payment deadlines, for example. So it could impact your studies. One example that I'll use is if you don't pay your tuition, a hold is put on your account, and then you're not able to register for your next semester. So it's always good to stay on top of our important dates and deadlines. We'll be looking at the winter semester. So you'll be able to see all of the important dates and deadlines listed here in order of the date. Also on the important dates and deadlines, you'll find out when you'll be able to see your grades. Our orientation dates are on there as well as reading week. So every semester, students will get 1 week without any scheduled classes. This is a week that we call it a catch-up week for students to catch up on their studies, on their tasks, on their assignments. Those reading weeks are posted there, so you're able to know when reading week is for winter as well as spring and summer. And then all of our statutory holiday dates. So we do have, usually it works out to 1 day a month. Sometimes it's 1 day every couple of months where we will have something called a statutory holiday, which is when it's usually on a Monday. Easter will have one as well. That's just an example where the college will be closed and all services will be closed. So there are no classes on those dates. So don't attend any classes. And you can find all those dates on our important dates and deadlines page. Okay, so we'll just go over what it's going to look like as students, as for you guys now from here on out. So you've paid the amount that's showed on your LOA. You're going to be selecting a timetable next week. And then the next step will be starting your classes. So the first day of classes is January 6th. This is the day where you'll look at your timetable and you'll see that date on there, and you will attend all those classes that are shown for that Monday. Day 5, this is another very important date. So students are able to register for programs and make program or timetable changes and add classes up until day 5, so up until January 10th. So if you're looking to change your timetable, you do have until January 10th to do so. And then day 10 is January 17th. So this is a big one that we like to communicate with students. We obviously hope that you do not need to withdraw for any reason. However, we do understand that things may come up and you might need to withdraw or defer. So it is beneficial for you to know that the last day for full-time students to receive a refund, there will be appropriate deductions, also depending on the reason for withdrawal. So the last day to withdraw and receive that refund, less the appropriate deductions, or to defer to another intake is day 10, which is January 17th. So a very good date to keep in mind in case anything does come up and you're not able to attend your studies at Durham College for the winter semester. Okay, so payment information. All payments come through our department, and here we have listed the different options that you have to make a payment as a student. So electronic banking through your bank, you would set up Durham College as a payee and your student number, so the 100 or 101 number would be your account number. Just keep in mind that bank payments do take a few days to reach us. So for example, if there is a payment deadline for semester 2 on March 13th, you do not want to be paying by bank on March 12th because we will not receive the payment in time. So it's just being mindful of giving yourself enough time or then choosing another payment option. So a very popular one as well is an online MyDC credit card payment, or calling us with our number there, calling us over the phone to make a credit card payment over the phone as well. You're also able to pay by Flywire or the CIBC portal. And we also like to tell students to follow all of our payment instructions exactly to avoid any scammers. We definitely don't want that happening to any of our students, so it's just important to follow all these payment instructions precisely. Okay, so student records. Once you log into MyDC, so for those of you who have logged in, you'll be able to see something that's called the student profile. And this is where you're able to go to request verification letters. So verification of enrollment for any students who does need a verification enrollment, you'll be able to see it there, as well as eventually for all students, you will be requesting transcripts through there as well. So we can go in and just have an idea of what it looks like. For verification of enrollment, we'll scroll to verification letters under helpful links and click verification of enrollment, and then order a verification of enrollment. You're going to log in. So anytime you're trying to access any sort of portal, DC Mail, DC Connect, you will be prompted to log in using your, for you guys, it will be your student number and your network password. And then this is what it looks like here. So this is the student profile. You'll have your picture once you do send us a picture for your student card. And then you'll see underneath here, this is where you're able to access a lot of the information and services depending on what it is that you need. So for example, verification of enrollment is there, you'll click it, and then this is the request form. You make sure that everything is correct and then acknowledge and submit. Then with the verification of enrollment letter, it is usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes to produce, and it will produce as an electronic letter through MyCred. So you will be emailed if you follow all the instructions. Once you submit your request, you will be emailed instructions on how to access MyCreds and then obtain that verification letter. So a verification of enrollment letter is $16 plus tax, and it is paid for to MyCreds on their platform. So you'll just have to wait until you get that email from MyCreds and then proceed with the instructions on payment and then obtaining your letter. Okay, so we had mentioned this earlier, and I will say it again for updating your address. Underneath the picture there on the student profile, you'll see where it says my personal information. You'll be able to go in there and click, there's a little pen for edit, and you'll be able to update your address there. It's very easy, very simple, and it is mandatory for international students to update their address to their current Canadian address. So as soon as you are aware of where you are living in Canada, please visit MyDC, log into the student profile, and update your personal information there. Okay, so student ID card and the UPass, which is the bus pass overview. Once you've selected your timetable next week, you will have access to your student ID card. So all of Durham College's ID cards and how we identify you as a student, it's digital, and you're able to download this application called TouchNet 360U on your phone, and then you'll be logging into your network, into the network account. You'll take a picture and you'll submit it to us for approval. Once it's approved, then your ID card is all set up on your digital platform on your phone. Your meal plan can get linked to this. You'll use it to, if you would like to use the Flex Center, so the gym, and go work out, you're able to use your student ID card for that. It's how staff will identify you as a student, so very important to have this set up. Once you do register for your timetable, you will be sent an email to your DC mail, so very important to check that again with step-by-step instructions on how to set up this ID card. So don't panic or think you need to know or remember any of this stuff right now. I'm just showing you what it will look like once you do download the application and what an ID card would look like. You will be emailed all the information. And then also before the holiday break, you will also receive an email to your DC mail in regards to the UPass. So this is a Durham Region Transit Bus Pass. All full-time students have access to the Durham Region Transit bus. So it's a bus system that we have in Durham Region that spans over a few cities and towns. And as a student, you'll be able to take the bus and you pay for it within your ancillary fees at the college. You can take the bus in the evening, on the weekends. It does not need to be for school. You'll have access to that bus pass as a registered full-time student. So connecting with us in Enrolment Services, this is what our buildings look like. The first building here, this is our Oshawa campus. This is the Student Services building, and we are located on the second floor. The next picture over, this is what the campus looks like in Whitby. This is our Whitby campus, and this is the main atrium where you would go into the doors and turn to the left, and Enrolment Services is right there on the left. We are available, so we do have representatives available Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. If you are visiting us in person, we do advise that you come before 4 p.m. as sometimes our interactions with students do take a little bit of time just to ensure that you have that enough time before we close for the day. And then the way that you can contact us. So on My DC, you would have seen a chat live with Enrolment Services. A few of you may have already used this option. You can chat with a live representative from 8:30 to 4:30 Monday to Friday. You also have the option to chat with our chatbot. Instead of a live agent. And then when there are no live agents online, so outside of Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, our chatbot is still available. So he is there to help students answer any questions that they may have. He cannot answer specific questions in terms of your student account, but he can answer general questions. We also have our phone, so 905-721-3000. You can call us anytime between our operating hours and speak with an Enrolment Services representative on the phone. And then our email address is central@durhamcollege.ca. Just keep in mind that emails do take a little bit of time to be responded to. So if something is urgent and you need to speak with someone right away, we suggest connecting with us on live chat, over the phone, or coming to see us in person. We always love to see our students and have them visit us at any of our 2 locations. The email address, it's usually a 2 to 3 business day turnaround time. So just to keep that in mind for anybody. And that is everything with my presentation today. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to join us and learn a plethora of information on enrollment services and student records. I know my colleagues have been answering questions as we go, but I am also here to answer any questions or show anything else that I may need to show on our webpage of any questions you may have.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Autumn. Just one note with regards to the phone number, because I know a lot of people have asked that question today, and then just seeing it in typing. Our country code is 1. So if you are calling, it's 1-905-721-3000. So you will need that 1 in front of that number in order to get through. So that's just a note, because I know many of you are actively international at the moment until you come to attend your semester. So a couple things that we'd like to do at this point is just go over some key questions and answers that have come up throughout the session, just to kind of go over them again, even though Autumn has covered some stuff. Autumn, I'm gonna see if you wanted to just do a quick review of the login and password associated with their student account in MyDC.
Yeah, I can have this page up here. So these are the login credentials. Your 9-digit student ID is found on your LOA. It would be in one of the very top boxes on the first page, and it's a 100 or 101 number. So your student ID is very, very important. This is how we identify you as a student. Anytime you send communications through email, you visit us on live chat, on the phone, you will be required to give us your student ID number. So very important. You'll most likely have it memorized in no time because it is how we identify you. And make sure that you are actually the student. So there's that 9-digit student ID there. And then the password would default to your date of birth. So it's an MMDDYY format. So I have an example up here, February 16th, the year 2000. Your password would be 02, so the second month in February of the year, which is February, the date, which is 16/16, and then 00 is 2000. So for example, if you're born in 1998, the year would be 98. And if you do have any trouble logging in, sometimes it does happen where you just need a quick password reset. If you have paid your fees and you have an active record for winter, you will be able to log in. So if there is a problem with that, then IT, as Steph had mentioned, the Canada number is 1. So you would dial 1-905-721-3333 and speak with IT. You can also speak with them on live chat through their webpage.
Perfect. Thank you. Another common kind of resource that we've covered off today in the questions is the important dates calendar. Are you able to just go over and into the web pages and show everybody where that is and kind of some of the key points that they might want to look at for January?
Okay, so from the main webpage, durhamcollege.ca, we'll click on quick links up at the top and then current students. There's a lot of other really good information here as well for students. So I do suggest for students to take a look at our current information page. Important dates and deadlines are found here. It's going to, we'll go to the 2024-2025 calendar. It's going to automatically have fall open, but we can just close that because fall does not pertain to anybody in this webinar. And it's going to be the winter semester, which is semester 1 for you guys, and then spring summer semester, which is semester 2. So we can open winter semester. You can see November 19th to 20th is when semester 1 students web registration opens. So that's next week. Another very important date for you guys coming up then would be on December 18th, because that's when you're able to process timetable changes. So add, drop, and swap your classes around. That opens at 4 p.m. Another one is your International Student Welcome event. That's on January 2nd. You would have been emailed about this. And then day 1, so January 6th, starting of classes. January 10th, day 5, so the last day to make timetable changes or register for your program. And then the 17th, which is day 10, we've talked about this being the last day of refund less appropriate deductions. And then other important dates. So for example, you are able to drop classes, but we do suggest to students, if you're looking to drop a class, to speak with your student advisor first, or to speak with the international student advisor. We understand that everybody has certain reasons for why things might come up and why you might need to drop a class and pick it up another time. That's also a good one to keep in mind, that if you do drop a class, that is a class that is required to graduate. So you are going to be paying for it extra at a later date and time. So we do not suggest dropping classes. And if you are looking to do so, please speak with an advisor first. But there are last dates here for dropping classes and what type of like how you would, like what your academic record would look like after. So when it would show up on your transcript as a W, or when you would actually be graded. This is all really good information. Again, always suggest to speak with an advisor before doing so. We can take a look too at the spring summer semester, because this one will be important for your semester 2 payment. Most international students, in your offer letter, you'll see on box 25, that's what you were required to pay. It does mention that that is an estimated amount. So it is up to you as the student to look at the program fee calculator and see if there are any extra fees for that program. And those are going to be due on March 12th. So the spring semester payment deadline, March 12th, is a big one. I do encourage students to put this payment deadline date in their phone. Set yourself on a reminder for the week before so you're able to look into it. For all international returning students, you will be a returning student at this time for semester 2. Payment is due by March 12th. And then you can also plan your spring summer semester 2 in advance by looking at all of our important dates and deadlines here. So you'll know the first day that classes start over semester 2, day 5, day 10, and so forth.
Awesome. So just to reiterate, one of the points that Autumn had just made with regards to adding and dropping classes and altering your schedule, it is not a recommended action to be done. We have a lot of students that come in and want to have, be in classes only 2 days a week and have 3 days off to be able to work, etc. Our schedules are built in a manner that it includes all of your critical core classes for your program of study in the semester that they are offered. So if at any point in time you try to alter that, it is best to do so with guidance from your student advisor or the international office. So just keep that in mind, and that would be something that would probably be on your radar after you registered. So we covered off a ton of information today. I want to thank Autumn again and all of our panelists who have been diligently answering questions in the background for you. Again, as Autumn indicated, this will be available to you as the recording sent to you through the emails that we have as the contacts for you, as well as a link on the web pages that Autumn has shared today in the MyDC section of the website. So lots of information to review, lots of information to be able to stop and pause and rewatch and listen again. We want to thank you all for taking the time to be with us today, and hopefully we'll see you soon, and January will be here before we know it. So have a great day.
Take care, everybody.